NYPA. It's time to start the show, so search for the squad and listen out for the promo with the West Wild spitter, spin his web into a chokehold. Make it unfold, 5 o'clock. Who gives a damn of what your man to say? We spittin' live wireless, leave him shot with the gamma ray. Ain't no runner-up, cause it ain't the closest to candidate. I fly so deep and you draw like Japanese anime. It's just us and the rest, news off the hottest press. Kyle Horton, Philly West, reppin' with the legends, classic interview session, politics, sports segment, live phone, call up a question, it's the NYPA, 95 connection, real people, ain't no scripted cue card for direction, just team on their grind time till it's all perfection, throw it past the satellite so you can catch reception, so touch ground with us, we kill challenges, and murder it for every number on your calendars, from west to the boogie down the Greyhound in this, we Google Spot, Anchor Podcast, pocket this.
Welcome everyone to another episode of NYPA Entertainment Radio. It's your boy KG, broadcasting from the NYPA studios. Thank you for joining this week's episode. As always, if you subscribe to YouTube, you get the notification of when new episodes of NYPA Entertainment Radio, the final season, is happening. Go to Spotify and eventually other platforms to come. If not with this show, then like I said, with the new show, Who is Kyle Graham, premiering in 2026. But nevertheless, we're here now for the final season of NYPA Entertainment Radio. So again, thank you. So let's get started. Before I get into what's going on in the world of entertainment, do a deep dive, something I came across that had me bring up opinions. Now, everyone know who listens to this show, I always have an opinion. You know, I have guests from time to time, and I used to play music, and of course, I talk to you about what's going on in the world of sports and entertainment and so forth. And I give you my opinions. And it's strictly my opinion, doesn't mean I'm right or wrong or whatever. It's my opinion. Like everyone out there has an opinion who may agree or may disagree. It is what it is. My point is this. Prior to today's show, I came across something from comedian Ari Spears when he went on I guess you could say, a rant about his comments he made in an interview about Ice Cube. So what it was is that he was in an interview and someone asked him about Ice Cube, and he simply said, not a fan of his music or theatrical, acts or movies, and that's what he was saying. And this came up to Ice Cube in an interview with someone else, and Cube, of course, said, most suckers don't like me. Of course, most suckers don't like me. And went on to say that he didn't know who Ari Spears was, and then turned around and said he wasn't funny, which is like, well, if you know who he is, how you know he's a comedian? My whole point of it is when Spears was talking, he made extreme valid points, because I say it all the time on the show when I say it privately. I'm in the conversation. If you don't like something that the masses like, then you're a hater, and then people get mad at you, and then whatever. We all don't have to like the same thing. We all don't have to be a big fan of something because everyone else is a fan of something. He just said he wasn't a fan of his artistry. Didn't say anything personal about him. And I get that said all the time. Like, and I noticed that also, it just in general, where if the masses like this person or this pop culture thing that's happening, and the minority was like, people like, nah, I don't like it. Then, you a hater, you don't like this, you this and this. Well, everyone don't have to like the same thing. I don't like a lot of things that people don't like. I'll give you an example. I never was a Michael Jordan fan. Never liked him. Just wasn't a fan. When everybody was going goofball crazy, even till this day, about him, I still think he's overrated. I give him his balloons. The man can ball his ass off, and he definitely, along with his team, dominated the 90s. But I never then and now and forever, I thought he was always overrated. I just me, I was like, I'm not, just wasn't a big fan. I don't think he is the greatest of all time. And then even that is an open thing of something or someone being something of all time. The time is endless. So it's like we'll never see, meaning us who are alive now, what's the next big thing coming, who's going to be great of all time. It's just, it's opinion, it's subjective, whatever. And a lot of people get mad, like, oh, because that's my opinion. Some people say no, they don't like LeBron. Same here. I'm not a big fan. I can take him or leave him, but doesn't discredit what the individual has done in that field. Whether it's music, movies, an author, or whatever. Because you don't like him, you don't like him. That don't mean that you don't hate him. To quote Common in one of his songs, but it just kind of funny how, look, a lot of people can't take criticism, period, and I understand that. And there's probably people not a big fan of the show, big fan of me, and that's fine. You can't please everybody. You're not going to win them all, and not everyone's going to like you, and someone's going to find a reason not to like you, or whatever the case may be. But I find it kind of interesting where, because he doesn't like particular, and I love Ice Cube. I'm a big Ice Cube fan, but I wasn't mad at him. I'm like, okay, you don't like him, and I know people that don't like things that I like. We still cool, like, okay, that's fine. That's what makes us great human beings. That's what makes us normal. It's like, all right, you don't like them. I'm not going, and I'm not going to try to convince you to like something. Like same way you're going to try to convince me to like someone or something. We all have our opinions. At the end of the day, that's why I always say before I start anything, when I discuss something that's going on in the world of entertainment, sports and entertainment, like, it's clearly my opinion. This is how I feel. It's not necessarily saying I'm right. However, at times I do believe I am right, and sometimes the proof is in the pudding. But that's neither here or there. I'm not going to. I'm just saying. I'm just, sometimes I am right about it, and it shows. But I digress. But I just found that kind of interesting, where uh, what Ari Spears said was true, is that if you don't go with the masses and you don't like what everyone else likes, then you consider a hater. And I was like, I say that a lot too. Like, you don't have to like everything. You don't have to go along with everything. If you don't believe in a certain belief or religion or whatever, that don't mean you hate it. You just like, nah, that's just not. I'm cool. I don't follow that. Cool. Everybody should leave it alone. But for some reason, people get offended. Where it's like, you don't want to, like, if there's a bunch of people, like 100 people this way and 2 or 3 that way that don't like it, then they think something's wrong with you, or vice versa. It's like, no, it's just, we all have opinions, man. We all see things differently, and I always say, yeah, 6 people look at one painting and see 6 different things. That's just how we're built. So I just want to start it off with that before I do a dive on what's going on in the world of sports and entertainment. Speaking of which, also, um, it's crazy, but I think the late night shows are coming to a close. As Stephen Colbert, the Late Show at CBS, the franchise itself has been canceled. Not the show, but the franchise itself is done. CBS canceled it this week, citing financial budget reasons. There's a lot of conspiracies with that, stating because they had to pay Trump out like $16 million or whatever. That's neither here or there. But what's interesting right now, technically, we only once the late show ends in May of 2026, you have the battle of the Yimmys. You got Jimmy Fallon and Jimmy Kimmel, and just kind of like it's winding down. And I find it like, if I'm up because I'm tired by it, if I know if a certain actor, actress, or actors, when I'll watch a Colbert, or I watch a Kimmel, or I watch a Fallon, but it took a lot of people. It's taken a lot of people back. Even his competitors is like, because they could be next. There could be come a time where now we're so used to having late shows, like late night talk shows, like 11:30 or whatever, where it could go back to what it was like in the '80s, or where you just had maybe one late show, or not, you just have repeats of movies on regular television. Hence why we all jump to streaming right now, and primary networks and stuff like that, premium networks, excuse me. But it's going to be a different look come fall 2026, after the late show franchise itself is no longer on CBS. So what they're going to air at 11:30? Will it be repeats of shows? Will it be an extension of news or coverage like that? I don't think CBS said anything yet, but it's going to be interesting to, like, for like past 30 something years, it's been like the big three with late shows, late night talk shows, NBC, ABC, and CBS, and then take one away, you got two. I mean, it can happen at any time, and I think that was an issue that Kimmel and Fallon was saying. Like, these networks, for whatever reason, they could just take the eraser and erase you, and that's it. Financials or whatever the case may be. Do I see a late night show coming back there? Probably another maybe 5-10 years from now. That sounds crazy, but I do think so. Do I see the late show franchise moving somewhere else? Maybe. I can maybe see only network I think that will go for maybe Fox, but a lot of Fox affiliates have 10 o'clock, that have like 10 o'clock news. So that means if they get Colbert Show, they might change the name, or it'll just take the Late Show franchise. It'll get a head start against the two Jimmys. If they don't come until 11:30, Colbert will start at 11 o'clock. I can see that happen, or it could just all go away. Things are changing big time all around us, and sports and entertainment it's really happening. Whether you're a fan of it or not, or you watch it or not, it's just interesting. Like, damn, they're like, wow, they're getting rid of that franchise, that the Late Show franchise run since David Letterman moved from NBC back in the early '90s. You know what I'm saying? And it switched hands ever since then. And I'm sure you probably hear sirens in the background. Philadelphia, everyone, Philadelphia. So you live, you can hear that. So we'll see what happens in the fall of 2026. But I just found that kind of interesting for those who might out there who might be late night show fans of Stephen Colbert, or the two Jimmys, or my friends say Yimmies, Fallon and Kimmel. But the landscape is changing. A lot of stuff is changing in entertainment and sports. Um, it's strange times all the way around. You know what I mean? But I just found that when I read about it, I was like, man, that's crazy that in fall of 2026 we're down one late show, one late night talk show. You know what I mean? And it's always a go to at times. Nothing really on the premium channels or streaming. You catch your favorite actor, you catch your favorite comedian or whoever on these shows promoting a movie or performing. So yeah, it's going to be interesting. We shall see. All right, let us move on and let's get into some topics here. Got some things. Start with the Wu-Tang. So Wu-Tang Clan brings out the Funk Doctor, Spock, Redman, Little Kim at last show at Madison Square Garden. Several times, I don't know, I'm just buying time while I'm pulling up everything on the screen. So I just started bebopping. Several times throughout the evening, the Wu-Tang Clan longtime leader and producer RZA told the crowd that this show was not just a celebration of the Staten Island pioneering hip hop group nearing the end of the final tour, playing the last ever show in New York City at Madison Square Garden this past Wednesday, July 16th, but that it was a celebration of hip hop as a whole. Why did it move? Sorry. Let me do that last line again because my screen jumped. He said, let me start over. My screen jumped, that's why. So I'm going to do that one more time. Live. live broadcasting. You know what I'm saying? Several times throughout the evening of the tour, the Wu-Tang Clan's longtime leader and producer RZA told the crowd that the show was not just a celebration of the Staten Island pioneer hip hop group nearing the end of its final tour, playing its last ever show in New York City, Madison Square Garden this past Wednesday night, July 16th. But it was a celebration of hip hop as a whole in all its half century old glory. And throughout the night, 32 years after the release of the group's iconic debut album, Into the Wu-Tang 36 Chamber, the 8 surviving members and related affiliates made that repeated declaration a reality with a star-studded list of guest performers that were a statement to long-running friendships, classic songs, and the sheer amount of genius that has emerged from the 5 boroughs at the hip-hop genre and culture has grown and evolved over the years. After a after a first segment of four on the night in which Wu-Tang Clan emerged one by one to perform the majority of the tracks of Into the Wu-Tang, the group RZA, GZA, Spectre Deck, Raekwon the Chef, You God, Ghostface Killer, Master Killer, and MATHOD Man, with an assist from the late Old Dirty Bastard's son, Young Dirty Bastard, began inviting New York hip hop royalty to the stage. Like Locks, Jadakiss, Styles P, and Sheik Loach, and Havoc of Mobb Deep joined Ghostface and Raekwon during their own dedicated segment. Method Man brought out Funk Doctor, Redman, then Little C's to perform Message duet with the Notorious B.I.G., The What, and Little Kim, Big Daddy King, Select Rick, who emerged from the trap door in the floor, and SWV all came out with the collected guests performing hits and street anthems such as Money, Power, Respect, Shook Ones Part 2, Children's Story, Quiet Story Remix, The Rock Wilder, Warm It Up Kane, Anything, and more. Kicking off with Bring the Ruckus, the crew kept the party going for 2 hours, going through tracks from the group's albums and solo projects, several of which are classics on their own. Incarcerated Scarface's Ice Cream, Bring the Pain, You're All That I Need to Get By, Liquid Swords, and more. RZA also took time to honor several hip hop icons who passed away, including Nate Dogg, Nipsey Hussle, Guru from Gangstar, Phife Dawg from A Tribe Called Quest, Hello, Biz Markie singing Just a Friend with the crowd, and towards the end, the late ODB who died in '04 with a tribute to included Young Dirty Bastard leading the crowd through Shimmy Shimmy Y'all and Got Your Money. Over the years, it has been at times difficult to get all 8 remaining members, plus honorary inductee Capadonna, together on stage and with conflicting schedules and interpersonal difficulties sometimes coming to the fore. But in recent times, the unity of the clan has shown through more clearly, and that was on full display at the Garden with commandeering with camaraderie. I got it right, and the love of themes, but explicitly, I got it out, y'all. From RZA interjections and implicitly, they putting these words in explicitly from the support each member showed each other. Now on the final chamber farewell tour with Run the Jewels opening, there are only 2 more shows left, um, with the purported last ever Wu-Tang Clan performance that was this past Friday here in Philadelphia. After Method Man, Raekwon, and Spectre Deck brought everything to a climax with Cream, RZA once again took the mic. Hip hop has Hip hop has been inspiring the entire effing world for over 50 years, y'all. He yelled before leading the crowd in a Wu-Tang Forever chant. Fittingly, the final song of the evening of the same title sophomore group released in 1997 was Triumph. That's one of many words that could be used to sum up such a memorable night. Uh, that's dope. I wish I was there. I wish I was at the Philadelphia joint. I wish I was at MSG joint. Uh, it sounds like, the legends upon legends, or icons. A lot of them are. And I could just imagine the frenzy of the crowd to see everybody out there just having a good time, and this being the last go round of surviving members of the Wu-Tang Clan performing in NYC together. Time moves on, and you get older, and other opportunity happens, and they all have their own career in industry, out the industry, music, entertainment, or whatever the case may be. So that's kind of dope. I wish ODB was still around for this. But at least he has a son here, and his music will live on forever. But man, like, that's dope. Now, I showed this story before. I'll say it again, and again, I was wrong, and again, it's my opinion. Ha. 93, but I blame someone else for this. Before 93, might have been 1991. There's a rapper called Freddie Fox. Freddie Fox, rapper, and in a video he was rapping and he's doing kung fu. My best friend Mike, who's probably watching this, who's a big karate kung fu guy at the time, and probably still is, and he thought it was dope. Man, hip hop and kung fu together, and the video was cheesy. It was just a cheesy video. It was cheesy. It was, again, my opinion, it was a cheesy video. He loved it. I didn't like it. Fast forward 93, Wu-Tang comes out, gritty video, dong 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 dong, the swords and all that stuff, and the beat was dope. It was dope, but I was like, the infamous words, this group ain't gonna last. They're not gonna last. Kung fu and the kung fu and hip hop, it's not gonna last. It's not. They're not gonna go nowhere with that. All because of Freddie Fox messed my head up 2 years before, because his shit fizzled out too. So I was like, that Wu-Tang Clan stuff ain't gonna last. That ain't hip hop karate. It doesn't make sense. That don't go together because of Freddie Fox. Freddie Fox fizzled out. Well, you fast forward 32 years later, there's egg on my face. I'm eating crow. I'm eating a crow with a big side eye. I told you so. And I was wrong, and I would bring that story because it's funny. Every time I see the video, the first video, I laugh because I said it's not. That group not gonna last. Who's gonna believe in hip hop and karate goes together? And it all stems from Freddie Fox in that horrible video where he's rapping and the shit was cheesy with ninjas and his face, and Mike is going crazy. Oh, no, he's going crazy. And I'm like, this is cheesy. It's not cheesy. It's corny. And I was wrong. So of course I'm a big Wu-Tang fan, and I have my favorite members, which is Ghostface and Meth, and RZA, and just I admit I was wrong. But I blame Freddie Fox. It's Freddie Fox's fault for putting that in my head that hip hop and karate that wouldn't go together because his shit was so cheesy. It was. The video, not what he was saying. The video was cheesy. And same thing with Wu-Tang. The shit what they're saying was dope. The beat was dope, but it was a concept of hip hop and karate, kung fu, whatever you want to put there, was cheesy. That was the whole point of it. So he was dope, and within itself. But the video, I was like, well, like, why is he rapping and fighting kung fu? It just didn't mix at the time, and I was wrong. And I got to deal with that, and I admit when I was wrong. So I was wrong with that one. So, but to see Wu-Tang Clan, just where they came from and the brilliance of the RZA to bring like the different personalities together and the vision he had and it worked wasn't easy. It was difficult, and for him to pull that off, for him to have a vision on where each individual was going, and I mean it's phenomenal. Like that is pure. That's the genius right there. He's a fucking genius. He shouldn't be called the genius for bringing that all together and having the vision and the patience to deal with different personalities, trust issues, and stuff like that. and kind of set apart friendship with business, which is not easy. So you gotta tip your hat on that one. And what we love today, the Wu-Tang Clan, Wu-Tang Clan, is the one album. It starts with the RZA. He's Voltron, like they said. He's Voltron. Everybody formed with him, and I'm sure like having a Funk Doctor, Slick Rick, Little Kim, Big Daddy Kane come out, and I can imagine at the Philly joint also. So, but if y'all checked it out, man, I'm sure y'all enjoyed it. But Wu Tang is forever, and Wu Tang is for the babies, as ODB said when he ran off Sean Colvin back in the Grammys in '98. Y'all remember that? I think it was Sean Colvin. She won for like Best New Artist, and and I remember seeing this in real time. And ODB looking sharp. He had a maroons. I think that's the first time I've seen him really look sharp, cleaned up, like suited and booted. Had a maroon suit on. I'll never forget this. Like a maroon crimson suit, 3 piece. Like dude was sharp. Had a white cream like scarf. Sharp. Took the stage. Sean Colvin. I think her name was Sean Colvin. Artist. She might be still be around. She's a white female. Startled. Is it? He go. He went there. He very polite. And in the same category was Diddy, a new artist. And he said, Diddy, you're good, but Wu-Tang's for the babies. And he left the stage. He like he's left the stage. She holding her Grammy all startled, no one knew what to say. You know. Another ODB story. All this happened on you can look, you can Google this is on YouTube, is where there's performing, which is a funny thing. Again, in real time, I remember seeing this is when ODB was performing Ghetto Superstar with Wyclef and Maya. Not Wyclef. It was Praz. And it's performing Ghetto Superstar. MTV Awards. Now, and I think they entered this, and I think they did the countdown for him. There was a countdown near the end, Maya singing. You hear 5, 4, 3. Now they're saying this, ODB is going towards the stage. Now, towards the stage are pyro. There's pyro right there, and the pyro is supposed to go off. So I'm thinking the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 is for him. They probably did a rehearsal. They're like, hey, the pyro's about to go off. So they're like, 5, and they counting, like she's singing, and you hear 5, 4, and ODB goes towards the edge of the stage where the pyro is. My hand's in the camera, sorry. Goes towards the stage, and right at the last minute, Praz pulls him back, and the pyro goes off. And I'll never forget that. I was like, it was. I remember I was watching my boy Dante, who was in college, and we both was like, "Did you see that shit?" Like if he didn't pull him back, that'd have been ugly. Like they was 5, 4. We don't know why they're counting down at the time. Like 3, 2, and they say 2. Or for some reason he goes towards the edge of the stage where the pyro is, and all you see, and Praz is like counting down. He just like gently just pulls him back. As soon as he pulled him back, the pyros went off. That would have been ugly if Praz did not pull him out the way. Again, all this you can see on YouTube. The same YouTube that you watch this show on, you can Google that. It's real time as you can see that. And I'll never forget this. Those 2 ODB stories on camera. On camera. Yeah. And of course, those who know in Philly, they caught ODB on a run here in South Philadelphia at the McDonald's in Grays Ferry. Why he was there, we'll never know. This is he of all places he could have went on a run to. He picked and McDonald's is still there, by the way, in Grays Ferry in South Philadelphia. He picked of all places is McDonald's in Grays Ferry, South Philadelphia, not too far from here, and got caught. Don't know why. We don't know why he went. He could go anywhere he wanted to. He comes to South Philly. Who knows? But that's my Wu-Tang and Oh Dirty Bastard story. All right. Okay. Let's continue. So I have Shaquille O'Neal warned Robert Griffin III to stop posting about Angel Reese. Quote, I'll punch you in the face. That's what Shaq is saying. Shaquille O'Neal has had it with RG3, we like to call him, Robert Griffin III, the NBA Hall of Fame center, emphatically called out the former quarterback turned media personality, telling him to stop posting commentary about WNBA star Angel Reese, and he made it quite clear what might happen if he didn't. O'Neal went so far as to say he will punch Griffin in the effing face. Reese has become one of the most polarizing athletes in sports, and her rivalry with Caitlin Clark has turned into a toxic national conversation. Griffin has regularly posted about the dynamic between Reese and Clark, second-year WNBA players whose rivalry stretches back to college, with language that often seems intent on stoking the divide. But what set O'Neal off this time was Griffin deciding to repost a racist edit of Reese's NBA 2K26 cover, which drew backlash for implying the post even as he insisted he was calling out the racism. That drew a response from O'Neal, who is a mentor of Reese dating back to her time at LSU, their shared alma mater, and the Hall of Famer didn't mince words in a recent interview when telling Griffin to stop with the post about Reese. He said, RG3, tweet another monkey post about my girl Angel Reese, and I'm going to punch you in the effing face. Okay? It's enough. It's enough. Like, I don't usually do stuff like this, but stop it, bro. Shaq said, you got your job, you got your podcast. Leave my Angel Reese alone. I'm the one calling her, telling her not to respond. Effing stop it. That's the last time, okay? Thank you. That's not real hate. Shaq continued about Reese and Clark. You look around at what's going on in this country. That's hate. This is sports. I'm not supposed to like you. It's a shame that all the stuff you did in your life, you're going to be remembered for your podcast. That should tell you you're not that effing great. I don't want to be remembered for Shaq's big podcast. I do not. Like, leave those girls alone. You already spoke on it. Let it go. So what? He hates her. So effing what? I hate you now for messing with her. Now what? Say something about me. She's not going to respond because I'm the one calling her and telling her, baby, keep it classy, because she's not soft by any means. She's from the streets, but I'm like, you're beautiful. Don't indulge with these fools, because he's a fool. You don't even have the G14 classification to say that. I would respect it more if Lisa Leslie said it. Like, that's y'all categories. Stay out of them people's categories. Like I don't mind you doing your job, but don't pick on that little girl, because guess what? I'm her protector. I'm her protector now. Pick on me. You pick on me, I'm going to punch you in the effing face. Both Reese and Clark insist that their animosity between the two ends once they step off the court, but people can't let go the idea that they hate each other. Griffin has been among the most prominent figures pushing the narrative. Personally, I found myself in a position where Shaq was threatening to punch me in the face. If I continue doing something, I would simply stop doing that thing. We'll see if RG3 heads. He's just warning from O'Neal. I seen the video when he said that, and I think that Shaq could handle that better. Here's why: you are Shaquille O'Neal, and I say this all the time with celebrities and civilians, but mainly celebrities. Technically, my man, you could have just did that on the low. You could have just, like, look at homie, like, talk to him privately, like, yo, just leave her alone. To to say that, I get it. You're angry, protecting her. I'm not taking that away, and I'm not too sure exactly what RD3 said. I heard different stories and stuff like that. It's a whole rabbit hole I don't want to go down. And if you're not familiar, Angel Reese is black, Caitlin Clark is white, and people make it a big racial thing out of it. And if they're cool, if they say they're cool, let's let it go. Then they're cool. If they're saying off the court they're cordial, then let it go. On the court, of course, you're going to. that's your rival. You're gonna go at it. It is what it is. As any competitive person who plays a sport, if you're going up against a friend, a brother, family member, once you're going up against it, whether it's on the field, whether it's on the court, wherever it is, running track, whatever the case may be, when it comes to that, or whatever you do in life, you competing in business, like this business ain't personal. You wanna be the best. And if you have to defeat that person, so be it. But you live to fight another day, you keep it moving. And that's what they're doing. But people make it racial when it's black and white, and they shouldn't. I don't follow WNBA that much, but I know what's going on. We had two great players. Who's best? Depends on what are you looking for in the player. Caitlin Clark, offensively, Angel Reese more defensively, rebounding, whatever. Two different styles, two different. They're polarizing in their own way. My whole point is with Shaq, it's you are a CEO of businesses, countless businesses. We don't need to see a CEO making a threat on camera to punch someone out. If I'm a stockholder in your company, I would not feel comfortable of like, my man said he'll punch somebody out. Feel how you want to feel, but you got to be careful what you say and how you say it. You could call him and talk to him directly. He's Shaq. I'm sure you can reach out to Robert Griffin, RG3, and talk to him personally, privately. Say what you got to say. Um, it's not a good look when you say that. You're a polarizing figure in the world. You, again, own countless business, very successful businessman. We don't need someone who owns all these businesses telling somebody they're gonna punch somebody in the face. I say this, you're a successful owner who happen to be black. Also, we don't need that. We don't need that. Again, this is my opinion. Do that shit on the low. Do that shit on the low. Talk to them directly. Tell them how you feel, and then keep it moving. Have that conversation like that privately, because it doesn't look good for shareholders where you want to invest in your business or something, and like this dude is making price, you can punch somebody in the face. That doesn't look good. It just doesn't. There's no excuse for it whatsoever. I get it that you're upset, but I thought, no, you too much of a G to do that. Contact them directly. Tell them privately, like, look here, man. You keep talking to my little sis like that. You and I gonna have a problem. Now that's different. You say it privately. You say it privately. You got to, whatever. Publicly, like I said, or who you are, it's just not a good look. Feel how you're gonna feel. I can tell you that, but you gotta do that privately. Have that conversation privately, and to see a punch somebody in the face, like that's just not a good look. So the question is, will RG3 going forward say something back? Will he stop? Because now it's like if you don't say anything or say anything about what was said, it's like, Shaq chumped you. He chumped you. You know what I mean? So it's gonna be curious to see going forward if you're gonna respond to that. But the Shaq thing, I'm like, I understand how you feel, but you can handle that better. You could have had a private conversation with him, and then later I said I talked to him and I told him how I felt. Look, man, you're gonna leave her alone. If you got a problem with her, you have a problem with me, X, Y, and Z. Could have said me. I just think you should have said it privately. Again, that's my opinion. Again, he could have said that privately. You have too much at stake to say something like that. You're a highly educated man, extremely successful, businesses up the wazoo. You don't want to have that slowly go away by having a CEO say that. You know, you don't need that. You don't need to say that publicly. That, again, my opinion. Um, he just handled it better. I think he could have handled it better. I get where he's coming from, but he could have just handled it better. and talk to him directly. You ain't got to make it public. Talk to him directly. Have a proper conversation with him, and no one really has to know about the conversation. This stays between you and him, and y'all can just keep it moving. You know what I mean? I just could handle that better. Period. All right, what else? I got a Nicki Minaj double bubble. They might go hand in hand, but first I got a Kanye thing. Kanye West has been accused of sexual battery and sex trafficking in a new amended complaint filed by his former assistant, Lauren Piscata, who started working with West, aka Ye, in 2021 as an A&R during the making of his album Donda, and eventually became his personal assistant. Previously sued the rapper for wrongful termination and sexual harassment in June 2024. Now, in a second amended complaint obtained by this article, she has alleged that West orally raped her without her consent and coerced her into complying with his sexual demands by making false promises about the advancement of her career. The courts are no place to indulge delusions and mental disturbances, said a Yeezy spokesperson in a statement. We stand ready to annihilate Miss Picada's tall tales before a jury, and exoneration so inevitable that even she, lost in her fog of fantasy, must surely see it coming. The full list of accusations Piscata makes in the updated complaint includes hostile work environment, sexual harassment, assault, battery, sexual battery, sex trafficking, failure to prevent harassment, discrimination and retaliation, gender discrimination, stalking, false imprisonment, promissory estoppel, and intentional infliction of emotional distress. Ye subjected Miss Piscata to obscene comments about her body. I said booty, my bad. Her body, demanding she wear tight-fitting clothing for her booty. Well, there you go. Groped her on a regular basis, forced her to watch Ye perform sexual acts with other women, sent her sexually explicit pictures, and demanded she do the same, and repeatedly demanded that she joins his sexual encounters, which she refused. The complaint alleges on one occasion he attempted to vaginally penetrate Miss Picata with his fingers. On another occasion, he orally raped her without her consent. Both assaults occurred during the course of Miss Picata's employment. Picard also alleged that West offered someone the opportunity to have sex with her in exchange for allowing him to have sex with their significant other. The lawsuit notes that West allegedly notoriously offered women as sexual gifts to men. The complaint alleges that sex trafficking occurred because West recruited and enticed plaintiffs by making fraudulent promises of career advancement in exchange for plaintiffs in acquaintances to Ye's sexual contact, and used force and coercion to obtain compliance with his sexual demands by in excuse me by endearing a fear. I got out and fearing that refusing Ye's desire would be met with serious consequences such as public humiliation, online harassment, termination and retaliation, and violence. Oh, let me see. Um, Sorry, we're past the next part. Spicotti's lawyers allege that other Spicatti alleged that after Spicotti Biscotti continued to refuse West's sexual advances, he terminated her employment in fall of 2023. However, even after she was fired, the complaint alleged that West her moved her into the same apartment complex, and on one occasion forcibly grabbed Miss Biscotti by the throat after she moved to Florida to escape him. The complaint alleges that West harassed Biscotti by falsely reporting non-existent emergencies and incidents, as well as requesting bogus services and deliveries to her residence. She claims that the alleged harassment worsened after her original lawsuit was filed in June 2024, escalating to a practice called swatting. This included reports of child abuse and murder, and Moscato was not able to predict when and if the law enforcement agencies would show up to her residence under the pretense of a false emergency, the complaint states. Scotty demanding a trial by jury to seek general economic and punitive damages, including past and future lost earnings. West's career has been in a tailspin since 2022 when he made a string of anti-Semitic comments that resulted in the dissolution of him working in a relationship with the Gap, Universal Music Group, CAA, Adidas, etc., and more. Earlier this year, he purchased the local Super Bowl. He purchased a local Super Bowl ad that directed viewers to his website, where he was selling a T-shirt with a swastika on it. He also publicly defended Sean Diddy Combs during his recent trial, even showing up briefly to the courthouse to support. Courthouse to support. Um, it's messed up if this all is true, but you pretty much know what I'm going to say. Uh, Again, strictly my opinion. It's what made you wait so long. When he was again, you gotta catch these monsters in the beginning, but you're so worried about your career and money, you let it go. As soon as he did the very first thing that made you feel uncomfortable, and you know it's not normal, you should have took care of it. You should have did something there. All these things to build up. I never understood that. And y'all might be like, "Oh, you wrong, Kyle. You shouldn't say that." But think about it. You've been with him for years, and all this stuff built up, and now you want to say something. You want to wait for years. As soon as something goes awry that is sexually, um, emotionally, verbally, physically abusive, you need to walk away and you need to press charges. You don't wait 2 years to build up. You know what I mean? And it looked like you're looking for a money grab at the end of the day. Like, no one should go through anything like this at all. Endure this for years, for days, an hour, a week, a month. Get out of that situation. Get out. He's not a god. He's a human being. And as soon as that man made a pass at you or touched you in places you shouldn't be touched, you should have called the cops and put handcuffs on that fool right away. And it incenses me where every time I read these stuff on the show or in privately, and it's happened years prior, you just now saying, I'm like, why didn't you get him in the beginning? And it, to me, again, and take how you want to take it, and I said it before, at that moment, in that time, you're more concerned about yourself. You're concerned about your payday. You're concerned about your reputation. Not reputation. You're concerned about your career. You want to stick it out and it'll be all right, this, and this, and it's not all right. It's not. No one should endure this type of behavior at all. If this fool did this dude should have been already in cuffs already. He should already be. This should already went to trial. He should already just be in jail. Period. Um, don't wait so long. Don't worry about your career. Don't worry about money. Like, no one should be violated like this at all. Allegedly. This is a lot of stuff he did. I'm like, yo, you let him do all this? Like, you waited this time? As soon as he made that first disrespectful thing, that should not be happening. You should, but like I said, a lot of people just like, she trying to advance her career. I'm with Kanye West. He can advance my career. I'm making money. I'll just deal with this. And I'm sure it's going to come up. Any good defense attorney is going to bring it up. Well, why did you wait until X amount of time to let this happen, or to do a lawsuit, or when you got fired, all of a sudden it's an issue? You gotta get these monsters in the beginning. You have to. You gotta get them. You gotta get them. It sounds harsh, and you have to get these monsters in the beginning. You cannot let it go past the first time. You can't. You can't do it. Just take them down quick. You have to, because it just doesn't make any sense. They should not be able to be violating people like that at all. It's horrible. Allegedly, if they did do this, I'm not saying yay or nay. No pun intended when I say that. Um, it's just allegedly if they have done this, you get them in the beginning. Get them in the beginning and get them quickly, and just take them out of society and have them locked up, buried under the prison, because they should not be out there hurting people like this. It's wrong, allegedly. And if she's wrong and he hasn't, then she has some explaining to do, because it's her side, his side, everybody somewhere in the middle is the truth. So I'm not saying yes he did, or I'm not saying he didn't. Um, but it's time people do lie and come up with stuff and go for a money grab. So if he didn't do none of this stuff, she gotta apologize, and he should counter sue, and he should counter and sue her for defamation of character. But we will see as time goes on how far this goes. But get them in the beginning. Get them in the beginning. Do not wait. I just don't understand. Again, it's my opinion. All right, let's see. I think I have. All right, well, Nicki Minaj. I think I'm Nicki Minaj double bubble. Try to adjust this real quick. Sorry, y'all. So Nicki Minaj keeps blasting SZA, quote, musty. I don't know if you fat, obese, chubby, or skinny. Uh, Wait a minute. Let me move this because there's another story that goes with this. All right. Okay, here it is. But that's what she said. But here's the full story here. Some reason the other one didn't show up. So Nicki Minaj brings Drake, Beyonce into her spat with SZA. None of us wanted to sing those shit lyrics. Rapper claims that Drizzy originally wanted her, not R&B hitmaker, on his song "Rich Baby Daddy." Nicki Minaj is involved with two other superstars in her social media spat with SZA, Drake, and Beyonce. In her latest post, this R&B singer songwriter, the Queen of Rap, claimed this past Thursday, that Drizzy initially wanted her, not SZA, to be featured on his hit "Rich Baby Daddy" before alleging that Bey was reluctant to sing the Kill Bill artist shit lyrics on 2015's "Feeling Myself." Quote, I wonder if she knows I turned down being on the Shake That Ass for Drake song. Minaj began referencing Drake's 2023 collaboration with SZA and Sexy Red. He wanted me and Sexy Red on, and she continued. I said I want to wait for Pink Friday 2 for me and him to do a Dricky song, Drake and Nicki, Dricky, a Dricky song, so it felt more special. And now that silly goose still out there shaking that ass for Drake every day. Minaj went on to claim that SZA has been trying to tell the world she wrote for Beyonce every other business day, referring to the R&B hitmaker's co-writing credit on a rapper and Bey's decades-old joint effort. Earlier in their back and forth, SZA has claimed that Minaj previously asked to collaborate with her twice to no response before teasing. In addition to rapping my lyrics on "Feeling Myself," cooking up the bass, looking like a kilo. I remember me and Beyonce was going back and forth on the phone about that part of the song Minaj wrote Thursday. Bae was like, "You sing you sing it." I was like, "No, you sing it." She was like, "No, you sing it." I was like, "Please, I can't sing." And none of us wanted to sing those shit lyrics. Billboard article has reached Billboard is reading this from reached out to SZA reps for SZA, Drake, and Beyonce for no, but got no comment. The rapper's latest post comes a couple of days after she first started lobby insults at SZA this past Tuesday. It all started with Minaj posting about her issues with one of them days actress former manager Terrence Punch Howard after SZA posted on X Twitter. Mercury retrograde. Don't take the bait. LOL, silly goose. When Minaj looked to be a subtweet aimed to her. Minaj has since fired off a number of posts dissing SZA, calling her opponent ugly and a liar of her wearing fake freckles and wearing a bitch looking and sounding like she got stung by a effing bee. SZA, on the other hand, has not directly responded to Minaj more than a couple of times when the latter first started posting messages about her. The former wrote, "I don't give a f about none of that weird shit you popping." Later, SZA responded to Minaj, calling her a fake girls with a screenshot of rappers allegedly asking to collaborate with the singer, writing, "NICKI, you absolutely know my music and what I contribute cause you asked for features twice to no response." SZA's reply, Minaj added to her post about Drake and Beyonce, took the bitch 2 days to be coached on what to say and do next. These bitches have no identity. Can't can't think off the top of their heads. I guess she meant think. It had thing. Can't think off the top of their heads if you paid them. I think she meant think, but has thing. Huh. See, this is what happens when you do shit on social media. Listen, I really think this goes back to what I was saying before. You don't, whether you're civilian or celebrity alike, there's better ways of handling this. You know what I mean? There's just better ways of handling it, and I think since I'm really at times not really addressing it, I think it's a smart thing to do. With Nikki coming at her like that, to me, makes it look more weak. And I just said it about Shaq, and I said it all the time. There's a couple ways you can handle this. Be a boss. You got a beef with her, have a proper conversation with her. You don't want to talk to her, let it go, keep it moving. Because now you look like a bully just taking shots at her for no reason. What's your end game? What is your end game by doing all this? You do this and then what? What do you expect to happen? People join up with you and bully her along with you. You know, you want people to just start trashing her along with you. What's your end game? What is your end game with this beef with her? What is the end game? Let it go. Focus on your own empire that you're building or have built, or your own music. Focus on that, because it's like this is not necessary. Like, what is your end game? Let it go. You don't like her. You don't like her. So what? Keep it moving. Because you look more to me, look more and more childish and foolish by just taking shots at her for whatever reason. You don't like her, fine. You don't like her. Let it go. But again, what is your end game when it comes to that? Just, that's just something that is just it's kind of interesting to me. Is when you take shots at someone on Twitter, you're not saying it directly to them. Because I'm like, well, if you're that big and bad, why don't you say it to their face? Say it to their face and tell them how you feel. You understand what I'm saying? Like, straight tell them to their face, like, hey, I think you X, Y, and Z, Z, X, and Y. Because it's funny to me, because anyone can go click, clack, click, clack, clack, click, click on the keyboard or whatever with your thumbs and Twitter thumbs and all that stuff. It's easy to do that. That's easy. But can you say it to their face? Can you tell them to their face that everything you just said? Have a proper conversation with her, or just leave her alone. Let it go. Because it's not worth it. It's really not. Let it go. It's childish. It's really childish. What are you saying to the little girls that are looking up to you? What are you saying to them? What like you try to be a role model and you do all this for the youth? You have and charities and stuff. You doing this? What are you? What type of message are you sending? Let it go. Be the bigger person. She do her thing. You do yours. You make your money. She make her money. The two should never meet. You don't have to work with each other. You just keep it moving. But it's stupid to have these little social media beefs and wars and clacks and all. It's corny. It just is. It's tiresome. Also, like I said, at the end of the day, it's like show me that show me what your end game is, and or show us a conversation that you have with that person, or show us what you say to that person's face, whether face to face, whether it's person or whether it's through a Zoom call or Teams or whatever. um, Show that instead of just click clacking away and putting up memes and gifs and all that stuff. Because I want to hear that person respond. Have a debate, have a conversation, or just let the shit go and make your money and keep it moving. How hard is that? Because at the end of the day, like I said, shit like this, I want to know what's your end game. It's just like, all right, well, like, what is your main end game in this one? That's the main question. What's your end game? And that's something I want to know more than anything. Why do you like her so much that you just like nonstop going after her? Like I'm very curious about that. Like this anger. I don't say hatred. I just said this anger is animosity that you have. What did she do to you that you got to keep attacking her? What did she do to you? You know what I'm saying? So that is something I like to hear about. Give us the origins, and I want to hear both sides. And I just want to hear both sides and whatever. By the end of the day, you don't get along. You do your thing. She do her thing. There's enough money out there to be made, and that's that. You know what I'm saying? So there you go. All right, folks, that's it for today's show. Appreciate you again taking time out to listen to this week's episode of NYP Entertainment Radio, the final season of NYP Entertainment Radio, coming in September. It's the last leg of the show. It'll be season 15, and I'm ending it in December of this year. And thank you so much. Get at me on social media at NYPA ENT Radio, Instagram, Facebook. Get at me, Kyle L. Graham. Email at nypaentertainment@gmail.com. Questions, comments, concerns. Get at me. Notifications. Subscribe for NYP Entertainment Radio. Let everyone know about the show. I got some things in the works for not this one or maybe for Who is Kyle Graham podcast. I'm diligently trying to get things done behind the scenes. So appreciate you all. Thank you so much. Taking time out, let me entertain you for this week's episode. Lord willing, have a good week. I'll be back up next week for another episode of NYPA Entertainment Radio. And as always, unfortunately, I cannot play the outro because it will get flagged. This ain't the good old days on Block Talk when I could do that. This is the new old days where they'll flag you just for even saying a song title that wasn't licensed for me to verbally say. That's how sensitive they are. So anyway, people have a good week. Stay cool wherever you are because it's summertime, and that's it. NYP Entertainment Radio, the audience will clap. I will fade to black, and the logo comes up, and that's the end of the show. Wait a minute. Let me cue that up. Okay. I had something else queued. All right. Lord willing, see you next week. NYPA Entertainment Radio.